Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Smoking Room. This time you're listening to Smoking Room number 34. So, of course, we could not let this opportunity go by without doing something special. So, we're going to be discussing the goddamn 34 characters in Ryukishi's works. I'm Des, and I'm here with...
As Corey.
Kia ora, I'm Horse Ryan.
It's me, Kyle.
And Lurf.
Alright, and this episode is gonna have Higurashi and Umineko spoilers. If we do end up getting into Ciconia spoilers, we'll give you a clear warning. We might touch upon very surface level Rosegan's Days and other Ryukishi works stuff. Just to there's this 34 character here. We will not get into details. Just surface level stuff, so you should be fine. Takano is what 34 characters are based on, so she doesn't count. I think the 34 character, as we know, it started with Lambda Delta. When I think about 34 characters, and I think everyone will agree, but that's just where we're starting. It's just a Takano line character, and that's it. So everything from the complex Lambda to the very surface level connections with Takano in Meryl from Rusgan's Days. As long as it's Takano aligned and it has a yellow color scheme, it's a 34 character.
Yeah, I gotta be Takano adjacent. I agree with that take pretty much.
Let me get rid of a 34 very quickly then that is definitively not related to Takano, which is the iconic Nanakaku Bieko's birthday is March 4th.
I mean, also, the numbers 3 and 4 have to be significant somehow within their existence. What was that meme,
Yes.
that 34 chaos chart?
Okay, put the
Yes.
chart on screen. This is
Yeah.
what we're talking about now.
I had both a 34 Anarchy and a Chaotic 34, I think is what it's called on the chart. For just, the name can be anything from Ciconia, but
Yeah.
it is chaotic. It's just oh, this might be Lambda and Ciconia. Who knows? But we can talk about that when we get to Ciconia.
Okay, then you said it had to do something with number 34, but Meryl, I don't think Meryl has anything to do with number 34, but I still consider her a 34 character, so does it really need to have a 34? Something related to 34? Because that just rules Meryl out.
I think we sadly have to talk about Go.
Well, we should talk about Go because I think Satoko somehow maneuvered herself into being a 34 character.
Yeah, and she doesn't have anything to do with the number 34.
She has to do with 310-5.
Yeah, 310-5.
Apparently Satoshi is a 34.
Yeah, I don't get that. Can someone explain Satoshi?
I can't explain Satoshi, but there was something about Satoko that I did notice in terms of relation to 34, which is, in the Dean anime, in that one original arc where Satoko ends up in the hospital or whatever, after surviving the gassing, she's staying in hospital room 34. Which is something that blew my mind when I saw it. I was like, oh my god, this is why Satoko is a 34 and Go for no reason. But I don't know, maybe Satoko has deeper connections to 34 than I think, but I can't think of anything aside from that, and also just being related to Satoshi.
But what does Satoshi have to do with it?
From a Google search, Satoko is 310-5 because Sa is 3, To is 10. Roughly.
Oh my fucking god.
She is one of the possible characters for 4, and is also the character for Death, which is why 4 is a number related to Death. And so Satoshi is 310-4.
So Satoko is the next level 34 character, 35.
She leveled up.
Yeah.
The final form of Lambda Delta.
She's evolved past all of them.
Can you beat Pokemon Red with only a level 34 team?
Hey Patrick, I thought of something funnier than 310-4.
Yeah.
310-5. Maybe this explains why Satoko went fucking crazy and Go. She was too powerful. She went above the 34 limit.
Mio is also 34 because that she gets her name from her grandfather who's 123.
It's Hifumi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they explain it in what's the last arc called? Matsuribayashi. They explain it in Matsuribayashi. I got it at the time. I don't understand it anymore, but I just accept it works.
I think they also explain it in the anime arc that comes after Sumi Horoboshi, where Akasaka is just there like 30 years later, when they're talking about document 34.
The sad Rena arc.
Yeah, where they took Rena dying and they were like, no, she's in jail.
I mean, wasn't the implication in the anime that was the Rena who was on the roof with
Yes.
Keiichi?
That's also, I don't remember if that happens in the manga. I just remember the really memorable page from the manga at the end of Sumihoroboshi, where it's like, you had your happy ending, but you had to turn the page.
Oh, what? What the fuck?
Damn.
Is that like what the text says?
Yes, it like jump scares you at the end of Sumihoroboshi in the manga.
Speaking of manga, does anybody want to explain Miyoko to me? Where does this character come from?
Miyoko Takano?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one in the middle.
If I remember correctly, which I may not. I think Miyoko is just Takano's real name, isn't it?
Yes.
But it's not Takano. It's Miyoko Tanashi, which is her real name, and she goes by Mio Takano after getting adopted by Dr. Takano.
Yeah, that does ring some bells.
Yeah.
Now that you
But
mention
Miyoko
it.
Takano is a separate character from Mio Takano / Miyoko Tanashi.
It hurts
Very
my brain.
confusingly. Do you want to explain it?
Yeah, okay. So, there's a story, like that would be in like Umineko Tsubasa or something. Like a side story called The First and Last Gift, where Lambda Delta gets a letter from Byrne, and it's just an entirely different game. And it's really interesting because they go into the specifics about how like a witch would choose what piece they are in a story, and they say verbatim it's like a video game character select screen. And Lambda's just like summons her persona and says, I kid you not, come my other self, and then just self-inserts as Miyoko Takano into a manga called Hotarubi. I don't remember the full name, but it's When the Fireflies Cry. When the Fireflies
That's right.
Glow. Not cry. It's not a when they cry, it's a when the...
When they.
No, it's when the... Which I think is much funnier.
Yeah, I read that manga, and I read the letter before the manga. How could I forget?
I was gonna read the manga for today, and then I was like, wait a minute, the first chapter is like 60 pages. There's like 20 of these.
I don't think it's worth it.
I don't know. I might... It's a when the...
I'm gonna read that after this.
I also think Miyoko only appears in the first chapter.
That would be really funny.
Wait, of Hotarubi?
Yeah, I think it was a prologue that was written after Umineko.
Well, I think I remember her being prevalent in Hotarubi. Like,
I could be wrong.
I think it's funnier if you're right.
no, yeah, she's a prevalent character there. What the fuck?
It does say on the alignment chart that she has the will to be a prominent character in a story.
Then maybe it was just that Lambda and Byrne only appeared in that prologue. Okay, so yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
I'm not over the idea that Mio Takano, Miyoko Tanashi, and Miyoko Takano are all like separate entities in this concept. What was Rikishi on?
It gets worse. There's a light novel.
Worse?
There's
There's
a light novel that follows specifically Miyoko Tanashi going to high school.
Wait, is that the one where like Mion and Rika are somehow the same character?
What?
And they're lesbian?
Pardon?
What? No? I don't think so.
Is that not the one?
I don't think they're born yet, because Mio Takano is like, what, like 30 or something?
Older.
She's 34. I would actually die if Takano's canonical age in Higurashi was 34.
I think I need some clarification.
She's in her mid-30s according to
So she
various
is 34?
wikis, so
That's amazing. Her name is 34, her age is 34, the number of works she's in at this point is 34.
the number of years we'll wait for Ciconia Phase 2 is 34.
If Ryukishi did that to us, I could probably forgive it. I'd be like, okay, funny bit, I'm 50.
Yeah.
Okay, I found the work I was thinking about. Mion and Rika aren't the same character. They are simply a couple, I think. It's called Higurashi Bus Stop.
I've heard the name.
So that's not the thing you were talking about then?
No, so Miyoko Tadashi grows up, goes to high school, is a completely different character, has like none of her like occult interests that are significant to Takano, and then she's just the most unlucky woman because she can't avoid getting cursed no matter where she is, because some bullies like do a prank where they make like, I don't remember what the name was, but they make another curse and they like put a donation box and they're just like, hey, give us money to curse someone. And so someone basically puts a hit on her. Like,
Wait, what is this called?
let me find it. It's on the wiki. I think it's on Takano's wiki page.
Because I can't imagine how none of us would have heard about this at this
I
point.
can. What is this? It's not even a When They Cry, but it's absolutely Miyoko Tanashi. That's why I don't know this. It's Kaidan to odoro, soshite anata wa kaidan de odoru.
Oh my fucking god, just post that on the text chat, please.
No, you gotta remember it. That's why I didn't try to remember it. Yeah, that's it.
That is quite the title.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure is a light novel.
Yeah, I was just browsing the Takano wiki in the trivia page to see any other Takano appearances, and apparently in Higurashi Daybreak, Miyoko time travels to 1983 with Okanogi. I don't know
What?
anything else.
What?
I need to know the context behind Miyoko Takano time traveling with Okanogi helping her.
My brain like cut out the part that Okanogi was helping her.
Yeah,
Like
Okanogi's
the
helping
fact
her.
that Miyoko time travels is enough to send my brain into a whirlwind. Like, what?
To be fair, Okanogi probably is the most spread out, consistent character in the When They Cry universe.
Wait, Okonogi? Wait, let me see. In Higurashi you have Okonogi and Takano. In Umineko you have Okonogi and Takano. Well, you have Lambda. Ciconia, you
technically.
also have both of them. In Rose Guns Days you also have both of them.
Here's the thing, he's not
What
in
else?
Higurashi's question arcs, so, and Takano is.
True.
His name first comes up in Sumihoda Boshi, which is kind of late, because the mountain dogs are revealed in the next chapter.
By the way, I was looking at this Miyoko from the light novel, and she looks like Rika.
Wait, really?
So-
I mean, it would be like 15-year-old Miyoko, so.
Still, she has black hair and
What?
Rika haircut, and I don't know, it just doesn't look like Takano. So, do we count this as a 34?
Her name is quite literally Miyoko Tanashi, so.
Yeah, that's a 34.
I imagine this is how she grows up in Saikuroshi. In the fragment at the end of like the connecting fragments where Burn Castell just goes back and is like, "Hey kid, wanna die?"
Yeah, but we see young Takano, and she does look like Takano. So maybe this is
Yeah.
just her going through like her high school phase, dyeing her hair black, letting it grow.
All right, here's my crack theory. All right, Lambda Delta's voice actor is also Miyoko Tanashi's voice actor, but
Yeah.
Eva's voice actor is Takano's voice actor, and so, with her absolute determination to make George the fifthly head, Eva is a 34.
We count that as a 34.
To be fair, she used Eva Truce with the power of certainty, in order. Shit.
Yeah.
Lambda Delta signed her on.
If we're counting Sayo as a 34 because of Lambda sponsorship, then Eva is also 34 by the exact same fucking rules as Sayo.
Well, no, because Sayo is Sanyon. Sayo is 34 because her name literally is 34. Sanyon in Japanese.
Yeah, and she got that Lambda sponsorship. So, to be a 34, do you need Lambda Delta sponsorship is my question, because we know from Umineko side stories that Lambda Delta did sponsor Mio Takano and Higurashi to give her the willpower to come out with certain victory every loop until she gave up.
So wait, so are you saying that like to be a 34 you need to come from Lambda Delta. Is that your criteria?
Or be
Because
sponsored by Lambda Delta. I'm wondering because I'm seeing some patterns in certainty.
okay, specifically sponsored. So like, if Lambda made a piece, like Bern made a piece in Erika, would that be a 34 character?
I think Lambda would just make them a 34 character. Like, you don't think her piece is gonna run around joking about certainty and winning all the time.
All right, my next 34, Kyrie.
Oh,
Yeah.
elaborate.
In EP6, Kyrie is talking to Jessica about Asumu's death, and Jessica's like, "Man, I guess it really was a miracle that Asumu died." Which also, Jessica, what? But
Jessica, you have something to say about Asumu?
but Kyrie just like it turns around and just like, oh, that's not a miracle, honey. If she didn't die, I would have killed her myself. The only miracle is that I didn't have to get my hands dirty, which is her certain determination to kill Asumu that created a miracle. And then she also talks about her master. And, like, is very clearly in the magic scene, kind of relating herself as sponsored by Lambda Delta, which gives the idea that in a fantasy scene, any person with determination is just like a Lambda piece.
In the Umineko short story, which is Tanabata, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
Lambda, I think, literally says that. Like, she says, like, literally anyone who puts the effort automatically gets, like, my blessing.
Yeah.
She likes them. Is the thing. Like, you know, like they have to be putting the work in, like, really hard.
So does that mean that if you put the work in and she likes you, does that mean that Burn is a Lambda piece?
Maybe. Hey, but is Burn putting the work in?
Rika was putting the work
Wait.
in.
Well, Rika was putting the work in, but Rika kept failing over and over again. Like, Rika gave up a lot of times, let's be honest.
Rika gave up, but in the last 2 arcs, Rika was putting the work in.
She was putting the work in, and I think Berncast still took a note out of Lambda Delta's book and was like, alright, I'll give you a miracle. Because it's the same with Angie in The Witch's Tanabata, where she's like, if you do this every day, all the time, and you don't smile, and you have a miserable life, then, like, I don't know, maybe I'll give you Battle back or something, we'll see. I'll just figure it out.
No, but like that's, I think that actually is like a legit explanation, like not even joking, because why was Rika not winning in Higurashi? It was because it was a certain game. It was certain that Rika would lose all the time and Takano would win. That's why Takano is certain in all of that. But then, like, in Umineko, it's pretty clear that Lambda, like, had some affection towards Bern, so you could almost interpret it as in the end, since Hanyu was gonna die and the game was gonna end anyway, Lambda, who's like the personification of the rules of Higurashi, went easy on Rika so that she would win, and it would be like the truth behind the quote-unquote metaphor of Hanyu's miracle making everything work out.
Oh wait, there's some more potential evidence to that theory, because one, obviously, Takano kind of gives up at some point, but that is because of the miracle. But if you look to Umineko, Lambda Delta does do a switcheroo where she's on the antagonist side, and then, you know, she sees the scrubby little, protagonist side, like, doing their best and doing their hardest, and she's like, I really want to see you succeed now, damn it. Like, I'm kind of on your side, so she does a little switcheroo.
It almost makes Takano's story, like, almost even that much more sad. Like, the fact that, like, at the end, even Lambda, the like, patron saint of certainty who was with her all this time, is also leaving her. She's all alone.
Oh, that's true!
I mean, Lambda might have even gotten bored of Takano winning all the time. Like, it's just, it got predictable. You know, it was the same kind of loop over and over again. Needed to spice it up.
That's the thing, right? At the end, in EP8, Lambda's about to just leave Umineko because she's getting bored, and she's like, oh, I already see how this story ends. And then everyone's just like, no, we're fictional characters. Die for us.
So true.
Which, it's crazy that she's actually so connected to these characters that, again, she is, like, on a higher layer of reality than them. They are basically fictional characters to them. It's like one of those meme video that's like, Attention all Persona gamers. Joker needs your help. All he needs is your credit card number, the 3 numbers on the back, and the expiration date and month. And she actually does it. Like,
Lambda's just kinning a bunch of characters from the When They Cry series.
Actually, I have a new hot take that has occurred to me, and that is, if we define a 34 as a character as sponsorship by Lambda Delta or as a piece controlled by Lambda Delta, that means that everyone in the Ushumiya family, including the servants, are and Nanjo are technically 34 pieces because Lambda both runs the game in episode 5 and then sponsors Battlers the Golden Sorcerer at the end of it.
That was exactly the reason I was asking you that question earlier. Like, does everything Lambda creates count?
They are 34 only in episode 5.
I think something doesn't need to be created by Lambda in order to gain 34 status. I think something can, like, after creation, like, if we're, like, saying that Lambda Delta, like, is a actual being in the meta world, like, something can get blessed by her that's pre-existing, like, Sayo and Umineko, who I think, like, isn't clearly, like, her piece, Lambda's piece. She's clearly a separate entity in the universe.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we know that Battler, like, you know, the Lambda Delta signs up as a sponsor for Battler, though Battler isn't technically a 34, but I definitely think that people can just become 34 when Lambda wishes for them to be, like, even Miyoko Takano, like, you know, like, there's that whole, you know, scene where Mia's like, I want to be God, and Lambda Delta's like, all right, Pog, like, you go, like, try at it, go, do your best, watch.
Shannon with brown hair gets blessed by Lambda Delta, suddenly becomes a bouncy, blonde-haired, gorgeous, blonde 34. All it takes.
Okay, I have a headcanon. So, like, all stories with 34 characters actually exist without the 34 characters, but then Lambda connects so much with the characters and she starts skinning that she just rewrites the whole story with herself in the place of one of the characters.
Why does that make so much sense?
the entirety of Ryukishi's library is Lambda fanfiction of other stories.
Yes.
Rikishi is Lambda.
Whoa! He has wait, no. Wait, we're not getting phase 2 because he lost his determination to certainly write Ciconia.
No! It'll take a miracle to get Ciconia at this point. We gotta call in the cats.
Speaking of Ciconia, should we...
Talk about Ciconia?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go
Oh,
ahead.
you're fine. I was just gonna say I need one of those credit card infomercial things, but for Ryukishi needs your help to write phase 2.
Donate $34 now.
Before we move to Ciconia, while we're still on Higurashi and Umineko, I wanted to ask you just how much, like, let's say if someone finished Umineko and they were confused as to how Takano connects to Lambda Delta, how would you explain it? How much do you think, like, how do you think Lambda is connected to Takano exactly?
I think I would point them to the side story, you know, like the Lambda Delta story.
Memoirs.
Where, you know, this person is like, I want to be God, and then be like, look, Lambda Delta 3-4, Mio 3-4, the connection, and this is Takano's goal. And I think that's pretty much enough to explain the connection between the two.
Yeah, I think Satoko is a lot harder to explain because they, like, act as if she is Lambda. And that doesn't work.
I've always, like, in my mind, had canoned Higurashi Go as that game between Rika and Satoko, and not Rika and Satoko, sorry, Berncastel and Lambda that they possibly had, like, before Higurashi. I had this theme before Go was finished, thoh. But
Before Higurashi or before
not,
Umineko?
Not before Higurashi, sorry, before Umineko. I'm mixing up my when they
Okay.
cries. But I essentially kind of see it as whenever the Red Eyes thing happens, that is Burn or Lambda controlling the piece directly, and having the direct influence. Kind of like when Battler was actually smart in Umineko when Burn controlled him. It's kind of like that, where they can't do anything outside the limits of the character, but they can really stretch it just a little bit to fit what they need.
No, not Red Eyes Battler.
Red Eyes Black.
Wait, does that mean that in that one scene where Butler is just investigating the corpses at the end of EP3, that's Red Eyes Butler?
No. In episode 5, when Berncastel is controlling Battler, like specifically.
Yeah, but like Butler controls Peace Butler on that one scene where he's looking for the cigarette butt.
Yeah.
And also, like, you could argue the entire end of EP4 doesn't make any sense for, like, Peace Battler to do after a while, but he just, like, searches for clues for the next, like, 20 hours.
I think that's because Battler was banished to the Sea of Fragments after getting your mom.
That's also true.
And Burn, like, took control until, like, Battler came back.
Beatrice hit him with the ultimate your mom joke.
No, for real.
Real quick, I'm never gonna get another chance to mention this, but this bothers me. There's a side story of, like, I think it is Memoirs of the Lambda Delta, and it's talking about how Lambda sponsored Sayo, but we didn't know Sayo was the culprit at that point, and so it said something along the lines of, like, that child, and then they talk about how they became a witch, and then they specifically go on to say that witch is a gender-neutral term, and that it does not denote the culprit's gender. And then Battler becomes the Golden Sorcerer instead of the Golden Witch. Like,
That could be. Is it an English translation thing, or did they actually switch it up in the Japanese?
I think the word is different, but then they never
That's
say
foul.
Golden Sorcerer in the rest of the VN. So
They say it in Battler's character card, though. I will call Battler the Golden Witch.
I can kind of see it though. And, like, I don't think Battler does things the same as a witch does.
That's
Like,
true.
That is
even
true.
like he's not the same as Beatrice.
And-
He's just somebody who understands the game board, so he's qualified to be the GM. But
And they did call Kinzo a sorcerer, too. So it could be that, especially because Battler kind of parallels Kinzo in episode 6.
yeah.
Yeah, or maybe they didn't want to give Butler the title of Golden Witch because the title of Golden Witch is specifically, like, given to the people who get the gold, and Butler became the Golden Sorcerer after understanding Sayo, not after finding the gold.
But he did get the gold in episode
I mean,
5.
technically, he did get. Yeah.
well, Game
he
Board
did.
Butler did. Meta Butler didn't become the Golden Sorcerer once Game Board Butler found the gold. He became the Golden Sorcerer after he understood Sayo. So it's a different thing.
That makes sense.
The Golden Witch is called such because she can use golden magic, also known as paying people off, which Battler never does. So
That's true.
That's true.
because Beatrice is constantly called the Endless and Golden Witch, and Endless Magic is writing all the message bottles, and the Golden Magic is getting her accomplices.
is that how Beatrice's candy magic works? I always assumed she was like switching hands, but she just bribed child Angie to be like, "Hey, if I give you this candy, will you pretend like it was magic?"
I think that's generic, like, prestidigitation magic.
You also have the other interpretation of Golden Magic, which is just everyone in the room agreed this is what happened, so this
Yeah.
is what happened. So in that sense, Butler can use Golden Magic, but
Yeah.
I still like my idea of he gets another title because it's a different thing.
I do think it's a different thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think just which kind of refers to, like, the culprit. Like, Ava becomes a witch when she's the culprit. And then obviously Beatrice is the witch the whole time.
But Avatrich becomes the witch, the Golden Witch, but she never pays anyone off either. Unless you count, like, paying off her company for publicity, which I don't.
She does kill everyone pretty quickly after
Yeah.
becoming the Golden Witch.
Yeah,
She didn't really pay off Hideyoshi, but he was an accomplice.
paid him off with love.
Maybe the real golden magic was the love we found along the way.
Without love, it could not be seen.
So true.
That's why she didn't see it coming.
I guess in the witch theory, then Virgilia doesn't make too much sense because Virgilia is an accomplice, not the culprit. But we're getting off the topic of 34.
That's true. That's a little true. I just never see a time when I'm going to be able to bring up that witch is a gender-neutral term, and Battler doesn't get it.
I think that's really important. You know, Battler would be the kind of person to not get it. He's like, no, I'm not the Golden Witch. I'm the Golden Sorcerer. Don't damage my masculinity.
That's true.
I mean, yeah, I could also see him being like, "No, I don't want that. That's like,
That's
the
Beatrice's title.
for my beloved Beatrice or something."
That's my most beloved witch. I'm not my most beloved witch. That's narcissistic.
I just wanted to go back to the idea I brought up previously of how Wamda may have gone easy on Bern at the end of Higurashi to justify why Wamda looks more like Satoko than she looks like Takano. I think that's just because Wamda wanted to, like, Lambda clearly is affectionate towards Bern, and she wanted Bern to be affectionate towards her. So she just took on the form that looks the most like her best friend. So she looks like Satoko and has Satoko mannerisms.
And Satoko, coincidentally, also looks a little bit like baby Miyoko Tanashi.
It really depends which sprites you look at.
Yeah.
Wait, does young Takano even have a sprite?
Yeah.
Original
Yeah.
sprite, I mean.
I am not sure.
So I know the PS3 sprites.
Because if not...
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, see? So my idea makes sense.
She does appear in the Dean anime, though.
Yeah, her hair color in the Dean anime console arcs is much lighter than what it is in Go, which is much more similar to Satoko's hair.
That's also true of Takano, I think.
My first thought when I heard that Go was making like Satoko, the canon Lambda, that's how it was being described at the time, was like, I wonder if he just like realized that kind of looks a bit odd that characters representing someone as old as Takano and someone as young as like Rika are like canonically together, but
I mean, I think once you get into into the thousands of years, that like a 20-year age gap doesn't.
Yeah, also, like, hasn't Ryukishi always been kind of cagey about, like, who Lambda Delta connects to, necessarily?
What do you mean?
I just remember seeing some old interviews where they're like, oh, is Lambda Delta, whatchamacallit, like, Takano? And, like, he was, like, a little, like, wishy-washy, danced around it.
But he apparently has a very detailed chart of it in his head.
Yeah.
But Dwarf, would you have preferred him to answer it? Or do you prefer discussing the topic like we're doing now?
Let's get Ryukishi on the episode.
No, I prefer discussing the topic. I'm just saying, like, it was never like an inset thing. Like, people assumed Mio because they looked similar, and then Satoko came along, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's Satoko now," and I'm like, maybe it's both. Maybe it's neither. Maybe the real 34 was the friends we made along the way.
What if it's
It's
neither?
really interesting to look at all the parallels then between like Satoko and Mio as characters, because like they really do have a lot of like very similar character traits.
So here's where it gets really upsetting. In EP8, Lambda's riddle is the riddle that Satoko falls for in Onikakushi, and then Burn says you got tricked by that riddle once.
Yeah, that one always stood out to me.
Wait, what's the
It's
riddle?
like everything about Lambda with Umineko as a standalone points to Takano to me. And then there's the one line that's like, well, what is it now?
Wait, what is this? What are you talking about?
It's the cake riddle.
Could you describe the scene?
About, like, if you have 1/5 of cake, 1/6 of cake, and 1/7 of cake, and it takes you half an hour to eat a piece of cake, how much is left when you're done eating?
Okay, and that's a question posed by who to who?
By Keiichi to Satoko in Onikakushi, because, like, she's it
Okay.
for tag, and he's like, okay, instead of giving you a countdown, here's a riddle, and you can't start sneaking until you solve it.
Oh, right, yeah. And then it happens again in Umineko, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's a riddle to Angie in EP8.
Yeah, Lambda Delta proposes that riddle, and then Vern's like, "Ha, stupid! You already got fooled by that one before."
As she crashes the party, the lights flicker, thunder roars in the background.
Yeah.
She really knows how to
What?
make an entrance.
Wait, so Lambda poses that same question to Angie, and then Bern tells Lambda that she got tricked by the question she's asking now.
Yes. She's
Yeah.
like,
What
that's
the
a riddle that
fuck?
tricked you once before, isn't it?
Yeah, so OG Lambda Sprite has hair a lot lighter and more similar in color to Takano's hair. She also has eyes that match Takano, whereas PS3 Sprite Lambda has a lot more saturated yellow hair, which matches Satoko more. And her eye color, honestly, it looks a little bit more mixed. Like it could go either way. Like it's a little more pink than it was before, but it also still leans brown, so it's like in the middle.
Damn.
this is all too confusing. My new theory is that Lambda is the patron saint of blondes.
What if maybe Bern is also just as confused as we are?
New criteria. If you laugh like Lambda,
Burn just mistook Lambda for her ex-girlfriend.
maybe
Yes.
that's what happened to Awa in Go 21. She's like, oh, I know you. No, you don't. No, I know you. You're that person. No, I'm not. Like,
Not all blondes look the same.
The real truth behind 34 is that there's no connection, but everyone keeps mistaking them for the same character because they look alike.
it's like the inverse of like Nurse Joy from Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly.
They're a bunch of unrelated people who just happen to look and act similarly.
Yeah, and people just keep confusing them for one another. And then there starts conspiracy theories, and people start writing their own forgeries about them being the same person.
I like how, I think, in a previous episode, someone said something like, if you see two people who act and look similarly, your first thought is not, hey, they're the same person, in reference to Chicanatress. And yet, Lambda Delta.
True. I think I was the one who made that point.
You know, you make a good point. Damn. And the fact that Sayo is a 34 too, I think that's what really gets me. It's because Sayo doesn't look like the typical blonde. That's why we don't connect them.
Well, do we ever see what Sayo really looks like?
I think in the manga, but I don't like to count like EP8 manga as fully 100% canon, but it is probably what Sayo normally looks like when she's not like on the job.
Mm-hmm.
But Beato is blonde.
Yeah,
So.
I feel like it's a wig.
Well, it might be a wig, like specifically like that hairstyle, but I do think Sayo is blonde due to Leon's existence and was
True.
just given a wig
Oh
from a
my
young
fucking
age.
god, Leon is blonde!
Yeah,
Leon's a
Leon is
34.
blonde.
Wait! Not so he's a 34. She certainly throws the baby off the cliff at every timeline but one.
Holy shit!
Oh my fucking god!
Everyone's
so
a 34.
And if you move that back around to Nazi's design originally being Beatrice's design, which connects to the original culprit. Holy shit.
Natsuhi is Lambda Delta.
No, but I stand by that Sayo is blonde and was just given a wig to wear from a really young age, so Kinzo didn't suspect something odd with the blonde child running around his house in...
Or they just constantly, dye their hair.
That true. Hair dye.
So
That's
yeah,
why
I
they
mean-
wear the little hats. Because the roots are...
Oh my fucking god. That makes so much sense.
this
So you wouldn't notice it once it starts growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
are they dyeing their like are they dyeing like their eyebrows too or anything? Like
I mean, I feel...
Let's just say yes.
The theory is that Jessica dyes her hair, right? So I could see that being
True.
like the same for Leon.
Okay, no. So there's a quote from a Ryukishi interview somewhere. I do not have a source for this. Where he says that all the characters actually look like normal like hair color people, but they are more
Yeah.
stylized for anime. Like
Yeah. But I don't think that applies to characters whose hair color is like a plot point, like Beato, Sayo, whose hair color we discuss.
We know that in the text it is said that Beato has blonde hair and blue eyes, so I assume
Yeah.
that means that descendants of her are also plausible to have the blonde hair and blue eyes, so I take those three blondes, Beatrice, Leon, and all the Beatrices before as canon.
no, only the third Beatrice is canon.
Yeah, there's no other bitch.
No, I mean like canon.
Oh, true.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean like Mion and Shion don't actually have green hair, right? So
Yeah, unfortunately, no.
Not if I have anything to say about it, they do.
So what about Ciconia?
Yeah, I was about to ask. Are we segueing into Ciconia now?
Okay, I guess we are. Ciconia spoilers up until this point. Phase 1, of course. In case Drukishi ever releases Phase 2.
I wanna set as many flags as possible to date this video by just continually saying we'll never get Phase 2 to like will Phase 2 into existence. I am a 34 now.
Look, if no one else wills it into existence, no one is going to do it.
True. We should just write Phase 2 ourselves.
I'm ready.
now that is the kind of certainty that Lambda Delta appreciates. If you do that, then she will sponsor you.
If we certainly write phase 2 of Ciconia, Lambda Delta will sponsor us with certain continuation of Ciconia.
This episode is sponsored by Lady Lambda Delta.
Do you think we can just like make an AI generated Phase 2? We just feed all of Ryukishi's works to an AI.
That could probably work, yes.
I want to do
I
that.
want to write AI generated EP10.
That
of
would be really
Umineko.
fun to like write like a short like AI generated Ciconia Phase 2 and read it. On the
That'd be
podcast.
really fun. I want to do that. We do it as like a fan reading.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd feed the AI when they cry at work. Otherwise,
then Battler shows up at Ciconia, just like everyone was.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I want.
It'll either solve the whole who is Lambda Delta thing, or it'll like just muddy it so much that nobody wants to ask again.
I think that it'll just throw in a bunch of certainties and game boards into random people's sentences.
Okay, so Ciconia then. We got VR30, Queer 34, and then we have Gestress, who just looks like a 34.
Who I actually don't think she just looks like a 34, but we can talk about Vera first.
Okay, where the fuck is the 34 in the name Gestress then? What's the word game now?
Now that we got to Ciconia, back to Go.
Oh boy, I have theories on this.
We have, oh, so you're Veer, or should I call you Mitsuyo, which is apparently a 34, don't ask me how. Or should I say anomalous spinal cord LD Satoko 3105?
Do you think the LD stands for Lambda?
It has to, right? Like,
It could mean little dummy.
although apparently in some schools, extracurricular classes are called Lambda Delta classes.
What?
Like learning disability, but it's Lambda Delta.
Oh, okay.
Which, I don't know. That's a thing that happened. Anyway, that's why Gestress' Mitsuyo is a 34.
Wait, how does Gestress connect to the anomalous spinal cord?
There's like theories that like in the planned Go timeline before COVID happened, that theoretically Phase 2 was supposed to be happening around the same time as the release of Go and its eventual whatever sequel that they were planning on having, because I fully believe Sotsu happened the way it did because of COVID.
Wait, so you think that we were supposed to get a different Sotsu? Like,
I think we were supposed to get a different like Sotsu that was more connected to the rest of the When They Cry universe and Phase 2 as well.
okay, I don't know a lot about how anime get. I don't want to use the word sponsored, but let's just say sponsored. Like the people who bank.
Like serialized?
Yeah, like the people who bank the animes to be made. There's like this Brazilian YouTuber who goes really in depth into it, so I have like a surface level understanding of it, and like I think like the bankers know exactly what you're gonna do with the money when they invest the money for the anime to be made. So I don't think they could just shift it that hard. Like maybe some changes here and there.
It could just be a remnant from the original concept.
I think more in like Ryukishi's original script, the plan was with Ewa and all that and all those connections to be expanded on in what they wanted to originally do. And I don't think Sotsu was like conceived that much before in advance.
They could have just said, well, we're gonna make a Higurashi sequel, and then that gives them enough leeway for this idea to work. It's just like they were going for one thing and then they ended up doing another. That could work. But I mean, it's been so long since Sotsu ended that if that was the case, Phase 2 would have come out already, I think.
Is it the case that Phase 2 was just written and he doesn't want to release it?
Just like Fire Emblem Engage.
Well, didn't he say he had to rewrite it for COVID?
Does anyone know the story behind the leaks for Fire Emblem Engage?
No, but I am waiting eagerly for the game.
So like a lot of time ago, like a year before the game was announced or something, there were these leaks. There were these leaks, and nobody believed the leaks were true because, I mean, the main character has two distinct, vibrant colors in their hair. What the fuck is this? The characters look like VTubers. These leaks are clearly fake. And then the leaks, besides giving us screenshots, they also said, yeah, this is a game that is already completed, that was supposed to come out in 2020, but then didn't because of COVID. And then Nintendo is just sitting on this completed game. And we were like, Nintendo would never do that. Why would they sit on a completed game? And here we are. It was true. So that would be the case with Phase 2 then? Ryukishi's just sitting on a completed Phase 2?
I think he mentioned like wanting to rewrite it a bit due to just like how like topical it was, which is a strange reason to want to rewrite something. But I guess like, you know, not wanting to offend people or like strike up like bad thoughts.
It's like how like when the earthquakes happened in Japan that they pulled those Pokemon episodes that had like the Tentacruel doing seismic activity or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's never been other like examples of the move Earthquake in the Pokemon anime or whatever. Still.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they always use special ground type moves instead of like anything that would cause an actual fissure.
Except the fact that they did use Fisher in one of the Pokemon League battles.
Was that before the earthquake
No,
or something?
I don't think so.
Okay.
This was in like the Orange Islands, which is the second season.
Okay then. Oh fuck! That's why Ash's Torterra never won a battle after it evolved. They wouldn't
Whoa!
let him use the earthquake.
Whoa! We solved
it.
So
Pokemon! Ash is a Lambda Delta!
Ash will certainly complete his Pokemon journey.
He does have Sato. Oh my god, his name is Satoshi in Japanese.
No!
It is.
No!
Oh my fucking
no!
Oh no.
No!
His signature Pokemon is yellow.
It's true. But I feel like he got Pikachu via a miracle.
But he will
No!
certainly be a Pokemon master.
So true!
Yeah, he's been 10 years for like 20 years. So
Exactly. It was certain. It was certain it would happen.
He's been working for so long.
Wait, he doesn't age. He's a witch.
yeah, he's in a time loop. He's repeating the same like.
Pokemon is
When
phase
Ash-
2.
When Ash retires from Pokemon, he's going into the Sea of Fragments and becoming a witch. And he's gonna bounce between the different fragments of the Pokemon universe. Alright, but, and in terms of, Ciconia, 34s. So, most obviously Veer Dreisig, the 34.
Fucking looks like Takano. Died in a similar way to Takano. Fucking acts like Takano.
I wonder if Okanogi knows Veer Dreisig.
I hope so.
That's something I want to find out.
I hope Okanogi is part of the conspiracy with Veer Dreisig, and that there's a conspiracy with Veer Dreisig.
I mean, there is a conspiracy with Veer Dreisig. She faked her death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Miyoko Takano.
Like, if we look at Higurashi and Umineko, Okonogi is always serving under the Takano-aligned person respective to it. Like, in Umineko, you don't have a Game Board Takano, but you have Eva, which is the closest you get to Game Board Takano. And Okonogi does work for her. So, like, in Ciconia, if we're going by the same rules, Okonogi would at least be doing something for either Gestress or Veer Dreisig.
And we know that in Higurashi Daybreak, Okanogi helps Mio when she time travels. But we also know if we're going the Ava, which Ava Beatrice as a 34, which seems somewhat plausible given she was sponsored by Lambda Delta and signed on to be a witch. Okanogi also worked for her under the Ushiromiya company. So Okanogi famously works for 34. Oh shoot, I was gonna say something. I completely left my brain.
Is there any relation to the to Meryl Tanashi in Rose Guns Days and the Okanogi character in Rose Guns Days?
Okay, I haven't finished Rose Guns Days, but from what I've read, no.
Okay.
Sad.
Have we thought about the idea that Okanogi might just be a Voyager witch?
It's possible. I wouldn't be surprised if in Ciconia, like, we suddenly, like, transcend to a higher level existence and Okanogi's, like, whatever the Ciconia version of a witch is.
He's one of Lambda's many friends. Damn it, that's actually plausible.
I've just realized another pattern between characters sponsored by Lambda Delta, 34 characters. What's with 34 characters and faking their deaths? Like, we have Sayo faking her death multiple times as Shannon and Canon so she can go commit murders. We have Mio Takano, like, pretending she burned up in a barrel. Veer Dreisig did the same thing. Satoko faked her death in Sotsu to trick Rika into, committing suicide.
Oh my fucking god. You're right.
So, a pattern is emerging.
I don't think we know enough about Gestress.
But is there, like, anything in phase 1 where Gestress, like, does anything? I truly can't remember her character at all.
The only thing I think about Gestress is that I'm personally convinced that she's a CPP of
Veer, yeah.
of Veer.
I agree.
Yeah.
Basically, all Gestress does is she sits around the three kings and bullies them, and then they're, like, really into it.
Oh, right. And then she talks to Jiro. Or
Yeah.
Mitake
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
Tomitake Flash. But yeah, she talks to him and he's like, you look just like how I remember. And it's like, oh no, Gestress, are you Tomitake's wife? And also, if you are, which version of you was it? Like, is Veer Meow's mother or is Gestress Meow's mother? Or is it neither? It's a
Oh my
mystery.
god, George is a Kinzo, or George is a Tomitake XP.
Oh my god.
Because he's in love with a 34
Oh
and
my
he has
God.
glasses.
Does that mean Burn Castell is a Tomitake Burn Castell Flash?
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no! Oh
Wait,
no!
wait,
no! Don't.
wait. In Himatsubushi, Rika says that she's the victim of the 5th year of Oyashiro-sama's curse. But Tomitake is also the victim of the 5th year.
Holy shit.
No! This cannot happen! No, don't! Vern and George cannot be related! No!
Tomitake equal
No.
George equal Burn Castell equal Meow's father.
Can we get the iceberg for this episode only? Like, can we just get a Lambda Delta iceberg? And it gets to the bottom, and it just says you are Lambda Delta.
With enough certainty and enough willpower and enough determination, you too can become 34.
Just fake your death.
Yeah, just fake your death, change your name to something 34 related, go off the grid, and voyage around like a witch.
You think?
Magnets.
Did you think that any When They Cry fans have ever made their child a 34?
There's gotta be at least one.
Like, someone's named their kids like Trent Equators or something, and it's like it's French for Trent 3 and 40, but I'm just not giving it the correct accent because Trent doesn't sound like a French name. That's my son, Trent Equators.
Do you think if like Ryukishi keeps writing enough stuff, eventually we will get the 34 character, and it will be like Mega 34?
I think at that point you have to stop.
Super paper.
Oh my
Super
god, the
paper,
true
yes.
super paper.
Oh my god.
And all the other 34s have to gang up against them, defeat them. I need a
Metaphysical.
34 battle royale where they're all certain to
An
win.
Avengers level event in the When They Cry universe.
The most ambitious crossover in media history.
Certainly so.
Holy shit.
I do want to mention
Yeah?
that when I was initially reading Umineko, I was like, I know that, like, mathematically, delta is, like, the symbol for change, and Takano had the willpower to bend fate to her will and cause the change
Oh my
she
God.
wanted. But what does lambda mean mathematically? And it's apparently, like, something that refines an infinitely repeating axiom. So
Oh
lambda
my
delta,
God.
this is off the top of my head, lambda delta would be culling an infinitely repeating axiom's change. As in, like, a time loop. Like,
She is the looping mechanism.
And it's infinitely refined. That's why it's certain. Fucking hell. That's so cool. Ryukishi, I hope that was your thought process, because this is too perfect.
I don't actually remember if that's correct, but I think it's something along the lines of, like, how if you go, like, 3.66666, it'll eventually just be 7. I'm not 100% sure.
That would be really cool. I hope it is.
The only use for lambda that I know is usually for I think wavelength. Yeah, I think it's wavelength.
I just read
It is.
the Wikipedia article for Lambda. Like,
Right.
it was like, can I find anything that I can relate to this?
I do have a question though, and that is, do we think any other Ciconia characters are going to be sponsored by Lambda Delta?
Good question.
I think it's Gunhild.
I
Gun-
look at
yes!
Gunhild, and I think I'm honestly like I'm kind of on the tip of both. I don't remember what. Oh, Gunhild being in the War Cats is what made me lean a little burn with her, but I feel like she may be both. I know there's been a lot of like talking space that Burn Castell and Lambda Delta are working together in Ciconia, and so that's why you see like a lot of their characters interacting on the same side, as in like.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
like-
never read those kinds of theories.
Yeah, where it's like Meow is obviously a burn piece because, you know.
Yeah.
Cats.
Yeah,
and
so is
then-
Asuka.
Huh?
Like the Asuka character, what is she called? I don't.
Koshka?
But like she's a Baron character too, because she says like meow and stuff.
Oh, Liza.
Oh,
Lilia?
yeah,
Liza?
Lilia.
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 Their whole team is, though. Right?
Chloe
Because
too.
Chloe has the blue hair, Lilia says the nya, and Koshka.
Koshka. It's
Koshka
just a
means
cat, yeah.
Koshka's brain is a miracle, also.
Also, Koshka.
That's true.
Hang on. I need to check something really quick on Koshka's sprite. 'Cause if I remember correctly, I believe she has a symbol representing 34 on her armband.
Sorry?
No.
Also, I looked into it. Gunhild is a major general Takano is a major, so unfortunately not the same thing. But I looked into it.
Okay, it's like an inverted L and then a 4. I just thought that was a funny reference to L4.
No, I'm pretty sure I've seen people use it as 34 evidence. I'm not exactly sure what that translates to.
Kushka equals Waluigi?
No way.
Wait, no, Waluigi's a 34. He was the fourth part of like that quartet, and he has
Oh my
the L.
god.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
a 3, but then Waluigi came along and it became a 4. It's 34.
I know people have also talked about them fighting Featherine because there's a line in the meat factory, the spinal cord factory, where there's the phrase like "child of man" or something like that. I don't remember where it is because it's been so long since I played Ciconia, but there are multiple 34s and burns just like sneaking around in Ciconia.
Okay, I found out what the inverted L means.
Mhm.
It's just the letter gamma in uppercase.
Gamma.
Gamma.
Okay.
Yeah, gamma.
Waluigi is
Gamma
Gamma
4.
Delta.
Gamma. How do we turn gamma into a 3?
Gamma is the third letter in the Greek alphabet, but it's not. Lambda is like the number 3 or something. I don't know. 30. That's what it is. Of course it is. So it's 3-4. Is that what we're going with?
3-4. When you put a 3 and a 4.
Oh my god, it is the third letter. Holy
Yeah.
sh-
34.
Oh my god. Holy shit. Okay, that's really funny. But we were talking about fucking Gunhild and like her whole backstory. I do agree. She does read like a 34 character.
Yeah.
How she like came from nothing and through sheer willpower became what she is now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Gunhild is Mitsuyo. Maybe that's her CPP.
That's her surname. No, she already has a surname, doesn't she? Is she one of the characters we have two names
Yeah,
for?
but she has like a split personality. We know that for sure.
Ah, yeah, I forgot split personalities were a thing in Ciconia.
That's like the main the main deal with Meow. And we do know that 34s have a tendency to have multiple personas that they flaunt around.
Meow is a 34.
Maybe.
He Blue Meow or Eraser Meow or whatever you want to call him gives prophecies that will certainly happen.
Exactly. Because like Blue Meow's whole thing is like you are you are a murder machine. This will certainly occur. Like, this is exactly what's going to happen, and this is exactly what you will do. With certainty.
Egads, Meow's a machine, and machines certainly perform their purpose without fail, unless they fail.
So, I mean, Meow being, Meow as a burn piece could be fighting, against the certainty of Blue Meow. I feel like there's a lot of mixture between them, where, like, some, like, alt personalities can be 34s while others are not. Which is very convoluted, but I do think there's something there.
I think the thing is that certainty has never been the same thing as prophecy, because this is a line from an extra arc. I don't think it's in the main story of Higurashi, but it's not a spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
Is that someone says something to the effect of, fate isn't predetermined, fate is the crystallization of human will, and a strong enough will can bend fate like, it can tear fate like wet paper. That's not Keiichi's line, but it uses Keiichi's line, so. It would kind of make sense if Burn and Lambda were both against a prophecy, because that goes against what both of them want.
True.
How so?
Because, certainty is a crystallization of like, insurmountable human will to like make fate what you want it to be, and the miracle is like the determination to not give up against like impossible odds. And a prophecy denies both of those.
Okay, so it's like let me see if I got this. It's like they're fighting something that is already set in stone because Lambda values effort, but if it's already set in stone, then no matter how much effort you put in, you can't change what's already set in stone, and that goes against her certainty. And Bern is just because no matter how much time she spends trying to change it, it's not gonna change.
Yeah, a miracle won't happen.
So there's not gonna be a miracle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, I can see that, given the whole, vague allusion to Featherine and the fact that, what's the Egyptian
Sheshat?
god lady? Sheshat, yeah, Sheshat seems to be a Featherine XP, so I definitely can kind of see them like teaming up against Featherine, especially after Featherine murdered Lambda Delta in Umineko for a brief moment, and how much Burnka still hates her. Because Featherine's the only person who could just make something happen because she said so, like a prophecy.
Wait, what the fuck? I'm getting a very weird headcanon right now from this conversation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
since we've gotten to this point where these two characters are fighting something bigger than them, and then we mentioned Featherin, who in Umineko was the writer, so none of them could do anything about what Featherin wanted to be set in stone because they were characters in her story. What if, in some very metal level of writing, Ryukishi not writing Phase 2 is his invitation for us to write a story where Bern and Wamdo win because in his hands they will never win because he is Featherin?
So we have to go to Ryukishi.
We have to do it.
And make him
Whoa.
write Phase 2 and with certainty.
This is just us gaslighting ourselves into writing Phase 2.
Or we have to write it ourselves as a miracle. We have to predict what a good ending would be, and if we can do it, that is a miracle.
If we miraculously predict the ending and write it with certainty, Ryukishi will give in, and he'll give us the real story.
Guys, Ciconia is my favorite ARG.
Maybe Ciconia is an ARG.
I wouldn't even be shocked at this point.
I think it could be. Like, I wouldn't be surprised because how can he top the levels of meta in Umineko? Only by going ARG, and it would make sense because it'd be a miracle if someone figured out if this would be actually what he wants to happen, and uncertainty that like someone actually writes a good Phase 2 that would align with whatever the fuck Phase 1 was going for. So like, does he want someone else to take over the story and make Bern and Wamdo win?
This feels like Rosatris level.
Yeah, you're starting to convince me. Stop.
No. I have a thought. So, in Ciconia, there is a place where people are digging within the Glass Sea, which is in the middle of Japan. It's in the Kyoto area. And
No.
it would take a miracle to find the exact area they were digging in the real
No.
world. But with enough determination and certainty, if we
No.
find that place and dig in that exact spot, we will unearth Ciconia Phase 2. And we will be able to release it to the public. And Rikishi's just waiting for us to complete the treasure hunt.
I'm imagining a school intercom system. To any Japanese listeners, please do not start digging random holes in Kyoto.
That's where the certainty comes. The certainty, yes, you need so much willpower to dig all of Japan.
You have to dig out the entirety of the area where the Glass Sea is. You need to split Japan
I mean,
in half.
holy wait, this is such a step up from Umineko. In Umineko, we were like, why don't they just dig the whole island and find the gold? Why don't we just dig all of Japan then?
No.
I mean,
Please.
if this is a step up from
Wait,
Umineko,
What
in
if, what if,
Umineko, no, wait.
We're
because
part
the
of the
Glass Sea
story.
was created
No.
by a bomb, just like Rogenjima was blown up
No.
by
No.
We are 34. No, this makes sense. Okay. Final bomb in this conversation. Umineko is a story written by multiple authors on the internet.
No.
This is what he wants us to do.
No.
I mean, it's the Glass Sea. He wants us to come through the glass of the laptop into our houses and make us write.
No.
We are the meta world. Oh my god, he works for Facebook.
Oh my god.
The Sea of Fragments is just VR chat.
We have to go into Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse to write Ciconia Phase 2. This is us going into the virtual world. We are going to become the order
We
of the
are.
Bat.
We're gonna become a Ryukishi CPP. Everyone who picks up Ciconia and writes a fanfic.
Oh my god.
That's how we beat him.
We
No,
solved
you're
it.
starting to convince me. No.
It makes sense.
It makes too much sense.
It's the fucked up logic you would use to fight a witch like Ryukishi, as we learned, which is a gender neutral term.
And Yukishi is nothing if not a man who is filled with gender.
It's very true. We've all seen the picture of him wearing the trans shirt.
This is all of improv comedy made a theory.
But it makes
We're
sense.
just yes-anding each other. But it makes
I
sense.
think this is the peak.
This is peak Ciconia writing.
I mean, I won't take any other answer to Ciconia, but this.
Maybe this is the answer with absolute certainty. If we believe hard enough, if we work at this hard enough, we can make it real.
Wait a minute. So, endless magic. Ciconia is heavily theorized to be a simulation, right? Okay?
Mhm.
We were talking about the AI-generated Phase 2 before.
This is the answer.
We need to certainly AI-generate Phase 2 until a miracle happens, and it writes Phase 2.
You know, if the monkey keeps tapping at a keyboard, it'll eventually produce Ciconia Phase 2.
Wait, Ryukishi would use that as an expression.
Yeah, in Umineko. And in Higurashi.
The clues were there all along.
This is the next logical step. We are the monkeys.
This is the greatest episode.
Humans did evolve from apes. It all makes sense.
And witches evolved from humans.
Exactly. We have to go back to our roots as little monkeys tapping on our keyboards so we can write Ciconia Phase 2 and get sponsored by Lambda Delta and graduate to witchhood.
This is like 3 steps away from becoming a cult.
You know, you're right.
You were gonna say horse fry?
I finally understand how Rosatrist came about.
You
It
know,
was
it
just too
makes
long
sense.
between episodes, and people were like, "No, he doesn't want to finish the story. Anything he finishes now is a red herring. He really wants us to decide."
So true.
This is the Rosatrist of Phase 2.
What will we call this theory? How to become 34?
Ciconia ARG theories, Ciconia 34, the 34 ARG,
The monkey
the
keyboard.
certain miracle of Ciconia Phase 2.
That's a video essay in the making.
I gotta start my video essay channel one of these days.
34 monkeys type Ciconia Phase 2 at a keyboard.
It sounds like a clickbait. It sounds like a clickbait article.
The title of this episode.
It's so true.
I mean, any other answer will feel underwhelming now.
I know, right? Like I think if Ryukishi, if you are listening to this episode, you know what to do.
No, we know what to do.
We know what to
It's
do.
on our hands
Don't
now.
worry,
It's
Ryukishi.
true.
We got
No,
this
we-
from here.
We understand. We got this.
We've solved your riddle.
Without love, it cannot be seen.
We finally understand his heart.
We finally have understood Ryukishi's heart. That's why he's been delaying it. That's why he started writing Silent Hill instead, to give us a hint that he was not writing Ciconia Phase 2, that it was our turn to write it.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the name. Silent Hill, he's staying silent. It's our turn to speak.
Exactly.
Silent Hill F. The F is for fragment, and we need to make hundreds of fragments of Ciconia until one is the true fragment of Phase 2.
When they cry fanfic writers, this is your call to action.
Ciconia really is just the greatest epitaph of all time.
Here's the thing, right?
It really is.
This is killing me inside. Ryakishi said that Ciconia is only a story that he could write at this time. He could not have wrote it before. Why is that?
That's true.
It's because the people who grew up reading Higurashi are now adults, and they can write their own fully fledged stories.
And they can fly to Japan to dig it all up.
So true.
Do you think that Ryakishi just threw a message bottle into the ocean with Phase 2 in it?
Wait. No, because wait, in terms of digging where the glassy is, what are fragments made out of? Glass. They're little glass shards that
Oh,
hold the world. And so if we start digging where the glassy is, we will unearth fragments. We will create our own fragments. We are making
We need to
our
make a
own...
sea of fragments of Ciconia.
The
Exactly.
real Ciconia was the adventures we made along the way.
No.
I'm so glad we knew to give a spoiler warning at the start of this.
And this is why we have to open Pandora's box, because what is the last thing in the box? It is hope. It is our hope that Ciconia Phase 2 will come out, and hope will destroy you. That is the message of Pandora. That is what Kashka stands for. So, we need to vanquish our hope that Ryakishi will write a Phase 2 and take fate into our own hands.
Exactly.
This is the truth of Pandora's box. This is the truth that Ciconia was trying to tell us the whole time.
I actually don't understand how this keeps making even more sense. This is ridiculous.
We thought Ryukishi couldn't top Umineko, but here we are.
Let's start pulling out Bible references to make it more solid.
We give an AI all of Higurashi, all of Ciconia, all of Umineko, and then the Bible. And then every work you need to read to understand Umineko.
If everyone continually AI generates Phase 2, it'll eventually make exactly what Ryukishi wanted.
We just we type all of the character and like nation menu tags into an AI, and then we just start the character with We just start every chapter with Meow and Jaden are having a fight.
Oh my
There we
God.
go. We solved it.
Incredible.
And they're the two the shore will tell you of. That is the shore the two will tell you of.
The two being Burn Castell and Lambda Delta, the shore being by the glass sea of fragments.
No.
There is a village, Kyoto. There once was a village by the shore.
Oh no. What is the key then?
The key? A shovel.
Yeah.
Ah, damn. Then what are the 6 we must sacrifice? And the two that are
the
close.
sanity of the 6 people who were supposed to be here today.
Oh, I thought the 6 could be the years that we're waiting for Ryukishi to write phase 2.
The 6 could also be the total members of Warcat and the Grave Moles.
True.
Our 2 main factions. Or how many people are in the Order of the Bath?
Like hundreds.
Yeah, 100.
Well, true, but the main ones, the main commanders. We have Meow, we have Lingji,
Like
we have
20-ish?
Stanislav. That's 3.
It's
24?
8 times 4 plus 2.
Yeah, 26.
And if we count their alternate personalities.
That's definitely over 30, at least. So it could be 34.
34.
It could be 34.
Good night, everybody.
Wait, then what are the 2 that are close that we must separate?
Lambda and Burn.
Phase 1 and Phase 2.
Oh no!
Oh.
No!
No, Lambda and Burn!
The epitaph was actually the script for Phase 2 this entire time.
Just like it was the script of Umineko, and just like how if by some fucked up logic we could make it the script of Higurashi, the epitaph is the script of Everyone They Cry. We just have to make it fit. With enough willpower, that truth can become reality.
The epitaph is a prophecy then.
Epitaph is a promise, just like
It
Ciconia.
happens with certainty, except for... No, it does happen with certainty in every arc, except Arc
Yeah.
8, except EP8.
In the phase 2 we're making, we just need to like trash all the phase 2s that the AI makes, in which Blue Meow doesn't turn to regular Meow and say, here's your prophecy for this phase. Look for the shore, the 2 will tell you off. Oops, wrong prophecy. Anyway.
No, I'm just going to put into the AI prompt Meow in all caps, because of course that's their name. Turns to Meow in regular caps and says this is the prophecy of Phase 2. Enter. I just make it generate a prophecy. Although we could use the prophecy as things the AI definitely has to follow.
Oh.
If Meow is our piece, and Meow is a Burn Castell piece and a Lambda Delta piece, and, you know, a prophecy giver, our villain, is Meow the When They Cry character, is my question.
When do the storks cry?
Wait, what was your question? I was focused on the previous topic and I completely lost the conversation.
I think my brain is fried.
I think we've gone too far.
You said you would give the prophecy to the AI generator and tell it to write the script based on the prophecy. Then you're just being you are Blue Meow. You're just being Blue Meow.
Right.
You're giving the AI the prophecy that it has to follow. The AI is Meow.
Oh my
And you are Blue
god.
Meow. Oh my god.
Listen. When they've succumbed to the prophecy, they become blue. We have Jaden at the end of the prophecy, Blue Jaden. We have Blue Meow, who is a CPP of regular Meow, and Meow, is Meow, Burn Castell Cat. So, which Meow would be the Lambda Delta, if we have one? Is it our regular Meow with the willpower to stop World War IV?
What?
I'm losing my mind
I
right
think
now.
I'm
I don't know if you can tell. Why do they all have to have the same name? That's my question. This makes it so hard to explain.
What? It's
Okay.
easy. It's Meow, Meow, and Meow.
The 34s make you lose your mind.
If Blue Meow, the prophecy giver, is feathering CPP, and if Girl Meow is potentially the Burn Castell one, I'd have to do research, but it would make sense that our regular Meow, our main Meow, our he/him Meow, is the Lambda Delta Meow, because he is trying to, through his willpower, prevent World War IV by creating an organization and leading it, but he gives up in the end and he fails. Succumbs to the prophecy.
Okay, that does align with Takano.
Right?
Fuck.
Right?
Certain characters are doomed to fail.
They are doomed to
Like-
fail.
Eventually. Except Kyrie.
Except for Kyrie. Kyrie always wins. What a girl boss.
Kyrie is super duper paper.
That's why her hair is white.
So if Lambda is Super Paper and Dlanner is Super Scissors, as we all know, who's Super Rock?
Super
Paper Rock?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Dwayne the Witch Johnson.
How does Super Rock Paper Scissors even work? Like, does rock beat paper and paper beat scissors? And
You have an EX bar, and when you use 3 gauges of your EX bar, you can throw super paper or super rock or super scissors, and it's like throwing gun.
Right.
So is Gunhild the
Super rock.
It keeps going. It
Gunhild
never
is the
ends.
true mastermind.
I mean, Gunhild's been incredibly sus thus far.
She does say this world deserves destruction. And speaking of destruction, what's the odds that, like, okay, Featherine is like a step away from whatever the When They Cry God is, because they
Yes.
like she's one step below like whatever the creator is, and they're trying to they had that line in like Data Fragment 16 with Tojiro and Seisha, like hoping that the Book of Revelations is a plan and not a prophecy. But what if Featherine just wrote the Bible? What if that's what's
Shit.
going on here? What if we just feed the what if we just review the AI generated Ciconia until it matches Revelations?
I think we've solved it.
I think my brain is broken.
We've figured out When They Cry.
When they cry, no. When we cry. We are doing the crying now.
I am crying.
No, I've got tears in my eyes over this bullshit.
I don't know. I don't think I have anything else to say, to be honest.
I think we've said everything that needs to be said. There's nothing else for us.
34'd out.
Is it even possible to go back to talking about 34 after such a
This
bombshell?
was all about 34.
We need 34 part 2.
All right, then. Should we close the episode
I
then?
think so.
If we do close
Sure.
the episode, we need to close it off with us just like 34 laughing into the distance.
Okay. Let's do that then. With that being said, we hope you enjoyed this fantastic journey as we solved Ciconia in real time with you all. Any AO3 people listening to this, you know what to do now. And with your help, we'll certainly achieve Ciconia Phase 2. Everyone do your laps now.